All right, welcome back to another episode of Just for the Tech of It. I am your host, Drew Prindle, and once again, I will be bringing you all of the weird and wild tech news that you probably missed this week. All right, let's start off with Ethiopian flybombing drones. So, in certain parts of Africa, they've got these really nasty little bugs called tsetse flies. They're these big, ugly flies that bite, suck your blood, and spread infectious parasites to both humans and livestock. Obviously, this is a big problem for a country like Ethiopia, where access to medicine is limited and food is typically in short supply. So, to combat the problem, a Spanish company by the name of Invention has developed an awesome plan. They're gonna go in and they're gonna use drones to bomb the country with swarms of sterile tsetse flies that will help thin out the bug's population. So here's how it works. They basically round up a bunch of these tsetse flies, breed them, pick out the males, blast those males with radiation to make them incapable of reproducing, cram them into little pods, load the pods into a UAV, and then release them over rivers and other bodies of water where the flies typically breed. When these sterile flies go out and mate with females, they won't produce any offspring, and the tsetse population will gradually begin to decline. It's pretty clever, right? I mean, it kind of makes me wish that we could use the same method for other annoying groups of people. Like, wouldn't it be nice if we could just round up like terrorists or like people from the Westboro Baptist Church and then just blast them with radiation and then drop them out of planes, and then somehow that would convince the rest of the population to stop reproducing? All right, next up, get this. Scientists have actually developed a way to make transparent wood. Now, technically, this isn't the first time that anyone's ever made clear wood before. Scientists actually figured it out like years ago and generally use the technique to create tiny, clear samples that can be used to study wood anatomy. But recently, scientists from Sweden have actually taken this a step further. They've essentially scaled up the process and figured out how to make the same material on a much larger scale, which means that they can actually make big chunks of semi-transparent wood now. With a bit more refinement, the material could actually be used to make windows, low-cost solar panels, and potentially even sawdust that looks like crystal meth. So let this be a warning to all of you meth heads out there. If your pipe smells like cedar, your dealer is probably a cheater. All right, last but not least, let's talk about Planet 9. And I'm not talking about Pluto. Don't forget, Pluto got demoted from planet status years ago, so now we're back to 8. However, as you may or may not have heard, a few months ago, astronomers found some fairly compelling evidence that there might actually be a 9th planet hiding somewhere in our solar system. Now, the thing is, they can't actually see this thing, and we don't actually have any visual proof that it's there. Astronomers found evidence of the planet's existence by analyzing the orbits of all the known bodies in our solar system. And while doing this, they discovered that these orbits seem to be periodically affected by the gravity of some unseen 9th body lurking in the outer reaches. It's a crazy theory, and the jury is still out on whether or not it's correct, but other astronomers have already begun to extrapolate on the idea. Earlier this week, a pair of prominent astrophysicists actually published a paper that suggests that this 9th planet is responsible for comet showers that are linked to mass extinctions on Earth at intervals of approximately 27 million years. Basically, these guys think that when this 9th planet reaches the far end of its long elliptical orbit, its gravity pulls comets, asteroids, and other objects away from the Kuiper Belt and then slings them back toward Earth once every 27 million years. Now, the interesting thing is that if this theory is correct, it means that in addition to mass extinctions, Planet 9 might also have played a role in seeding life on planet Earth millions of years ago. It's an interesting theory for sure. Honestly, I can't wait for all the crackpot religious cults to pick this up and run with it. I say we've got about 2 weeks before the Church of Scientology hijacks this idea, rewrites a few chapters of their book, and then Tom Cruise can start jumping on couches again.
We've never seen you behave this way before.
I know.
Have you ever felt this way before?
All right, that does it for this week, but be sure to tune in next week for more weird and wild tech news.